Alright, so I'm back with one more video here, and this video will be targeting pre-boot process of HySecure. So here, to do boot pre-boot process of HySecure gateway, uh, we need certain things that should be there, and then we will start pre-boot of that server. Okay, so let's just first understand like what are the basic things that should be there before we are going to start a boot process of any server. So this is for this VPN server. uh, we will just mention few points here that we need to ensure that these are in line, and then we will understand the procedure of boot process of this particular server. Okay, and so here are a few points. The first thing for this server is that okay, once you have installed that server on your hypervisor, this may be any of the hypervisor, this may be VMware, this may be your Hyper-V, this may be your Nutanix, this may be your Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, any one. So once you install your server, you have to ensure that your server has got a static IP. So first point is here that this server has got an static IP, and how you have to provide this static IP. This server VM will have a default user credentials on the console. You have to use those credentials, log in, and then provide a static IP. Sure. While doing that, you will get some basic things like you have to provide IP. Okay, so during adding static IP, what all things would be required, I will just mention here. This will require your first IP that you want to assign. Then another thing, it will require to add net mask and then gateway. So these are few details that you need to enter during assigning the static IP. Okay, this is a must need. And second thing that we need before going on boot process, machine from where we are going to do this boot process. Usually it is an admin machine. So from admin machine, that server IP should be reachable, and specifically it should be port 443, which should be reachable from admin device. So right at this moment, this is my admin machine. Server is running somewhere else, but IP is reachable from my device, from my this machine. You can consider this as an admin machine, and uh, this is the IP and the port 443 connection. Okay, so basically all communications are going to happen on port 443. So second point would be server IP should be reachable, and apart from IP, port 443 should be also reachable. Should be alright. So these are few basic things that we need to take care before going on boot procedure. Okay, so here in this case we have got a server whose IP is 10.0.0.10. So how you have to exactly access? You have to go on your browser, and you have to simply enter your server IP with HTTPS, and here you go. You will get the page that will show some basic things. There is an option to download client. So if you don't have client, download it. I have already a client here, so I'm not going to download the client, but if you don't have, please download this client from here. And there is button, you can say there is option where it is saying that HySecure is in factory setting. Please configure it first. So you have to go with this option because we are going to configure the server. So I'm going with this option, configure HySecure server now. And here is the first page. We basically for end user license agreement. By default, you won't be able to click here. You have to scroll down, read all those terms and conditions, go to the bottom, and then select this accept terms and conditions. If you want to print or download, you can do that. and then submit. Now there is first option, it is saying that system configuration. Okay, so definitely this ISO what we have installed, it will be either directly on physical host or this might be a virtual machine. So by default there is option, it has been selected by default. Let's go on the next step. Alright, so here it has got a host name. If you want, you can change. Please make sure that you are providing an appropriate host name, because once you have performed the installation, you cannot change the host name directly here. So you have to ensure that you are adding appropriate host name here. So I'm going with this particular option, and these are my gateway and DNS server. If you have multiple DNS server, you can add these DNS server over here. Just cross check that the interface that you added and the IP that you assigned, these are right. And then here you have to select your time zone. So I will select my time zone. You have to select your time zone based on your location where server is hosted. So where it is plus 5:30. Okay, this is Calcutta, and just let's confirm that okay, this is having the ensure that this is having correct date as well as time. Okay, if you have your own NTP server, change your NTP server entry. I will go with default, but if you have, you can just enter your primary and NTP server entries here. This is one of the important things. If you have, please add it. Okay, by default this server will go with 5 concurrent licenses which will have validity for next 30 days. So let's go for the next step. Alright, so these are the things that we have right now added. Just have a look, and if you are fine that okay we can go proceed, just click on continue. Okay, once you click on continue, this will proceed for configuration part, and you have to choose like how you want to proceed. Okay, so this particular section has two options. If you are doing a fresh install, go with the option set up a new installation, and if you have earlier system backup file for your existing server and you want to use during that moment, you can go with this option. So you have to choose here, because you can restore system backup file only here. So right now this is a new server for me, so I will go with the setup a new installation. Next, here it is asking for certificate authority mode. So here again there are two options. One is default ECOPS internal CA, and another is saying in external CA. So if you have already a third party signed CA, you can go with this option, external CA. And if you don't want to use that, you want to just go with self-signed certificate during configuration process, and later you will upload your SSL certificate, then you can go with this second option. I will go with this one because I don't have external one, so I will go with this option. Let me show me this option. Alright, now it is asking name of country and all those details which is required to generate a SSL certificate. So I will say that my company name is Solution 365 and my country is India, and then state is so you have to not replicate the same information, you have to select your own information. So you have to put your company name, your location where you are installing server, and the state, what state you belong, then your city. So this is your city. You can go with 10-year certificate validity, and then you have to create your first security official account. At this moment I'm not going to give much detail about security official account, but there is sufficient information that this is the one of the super admin account which is going to manage your server. What all key features it will have, we will talk about this in next video, but this is the one of the key account, first super admin account, who is going to have all the access of this particular server. Alright, so I'm going to create uh, name. So I will go with this solution 365. Okay, and here you have to enter your mail ID. I'm going to use some my mail ID. Okay, you have to use your actual mail ID over here, which is going to be associated with this particular account. And then you have to choose user ID. If you want, you can choose same ID over here. I'm going to prefer the same user ID as a name. You can choose based on your choice. Next, you have to click on submit. Now server will process your request. What is going to happen? All this information is going to be processed on server side. There will be generation of SSL certificate, what you have just mentioned over here. And then there is a second part, security officer account. So for this particular thing, for creating a security officer account, you will get a passphrase. Once this request will be completely processed, you will get a passphrase on a screen. You have to use that passphrase to register security officer account. So it has already completed this request, and my passphrase is over here. Okay, uh, this passphrase is one-time passphrase. So once you use it, you cannot reuse it. Okay, so I have got this passphrase, and now I'm going to register this passphrase so that I can get the server access. And for that part, as I mentioned in the beginning of this discussion, that you need a client, and client need to be installed on your device. So how the client will install, that we will discuss on separate video, but this is a very simple installer. You can download and install it, and once installed, just launch your client and then enter your server IP. So it is here 10.0.0.10. That's what your server IP. You have to just enter, click on three dot and see if it is connecting. Yes, it is connecting. Now because I'm going to register, so I will go with login with a digital certificate, and then I will click on enroll client SSL certificate, and I will copy this passphrase over here. Alright, let me copy first this passphrase so we can use it. Alright, I have copied my passphrase. Now you have to create a secure password. Recommended password would be at least 8 characters. Keep combination of caps, small cases, numbers, special character, so it is not easy to guess. Alright, I'm going to create my password. You can create password based on your own choice. Alright, once I have entered password, I will click on submit. It is going to process my request, and there will be enrollment status. The certificate is successfully imported. Alright, what is this exactly saying? I will just show you that because I have just imported certificate for my account. This is my user ID that I have just created. So I have got a certificate on my system which has been imported from server, and by using this certificate, now I can log in and access the management console. So let's do that to perform the last step of this boot start process. So once I have logged in, now I'm inside the launch pad, and the launch this client has launched this particular HySecure server management page on my default browser, which is at this moment my Edge. So it has automatically launched. If you want to change this setting, that you don't want to launch this thing on your default browser, you can go on preferences, on web application setting, and you can disable this check mark. So this will not launch your default browser. Okay, and if you will not enable this, by default it will use Internet Explorer. Otherwise it will go with your default browser. This can be either your Edge, Chrome, or Firefox, whatever you have chosen. Sure. Now we are here inside server. Your boot procedure has been completed, and The next part would be configuration of cluster, that we will discuss on another video. That's all for this video. We will coming back with cluster configuration in next video.